What if there was an animal that could survive being frozen for decades, survive extreme radiation, go without food or water, and even survive the vacuum of space? It sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but this creature is real. It lives on Earth right now. And the strangest part? It can be smaller than a grain of sand. Scientists call it a tardigrade, but its nickname is far more fitting: the water bear. And this tiny animal may be one of the toughest organisms ever discovered. At first glance, a tardigrade doesn't look dangerous. It has 8 short legs, a plump body, and a strange, almost bear-like appearance under a microscope. Most are less than 1 millimeter long. You could have hundreds of them in the environment around you without ever knowing they were there. They live in places like moss, soil, fresh water, and even marine environments. But their real superpower isn't strength. It's something much stranger. They can almost shut themselves down. When conditions become too dangerous, a tardigrade can enter a state called cryptobiosis. Its metabolism can fall to an incredibly low level. Its body loses most of its water, and instead of continuing to live normally, it essentially waits, sometimes for years, sometimes for decades, until the environment becomes survivable again. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that almost all the water around you has disappeared. For humans, that would be catastrophic. For a tardigrade, it can be part of the survival strategy. As its body dries, it contracts into a compact structure called a ton. Its metabolism slows dramatically, and its biological processes become almost suspended. It's not exactly dead, but it's not functioning like a normal living animal either. It's more like putting life itself on pause. Then, when water returns, the tardigrade can rehydrate. Its body expands, its metabolism starts again, and remarkably, it can return to normal activity. Now comes something even more unbelievable. Some tardigrades can survive extremely low temperatures. When water inside their environment freezes, the biggest danger isn't simply the cold, it's ice. Ice crystals can damage cells and destroy delicate biological structures. But tardigrades have evolved ways to protect themselves during extreme dehydration and freezing. Their bodies can enter that cryptobiotic state, allowing them to endure conditions that would destroy most animals. And researchers have successfully revived tardigrades after long periods in frozen or dried conditions. But cold isn't the only thing these creatures can handle. Because then, scientists tested something far more dangerous. Radiation can damage DNA. High levels can destroy living cells. For humans, large doses can be fatal. But tardigrades have shown remarkable resistance to certain types of radiation. Scientists have discovered that their biology includes powerful mechanisms for protecting and repairing their DNA. One protein, known as DSUP, has attracted particular attention. Researchers found evidence that DSUP can help protect DNA from damage. And this discovery created a fascinating possibility. What if some of the tardigrade's survival tricks could eventually help protect other organisms? Not by turning humans into superheroes, but perhaps by helping scientists develop better ways to protect cells from radiation damage. But scientists wanted to know something even more extreme. Could these tiny creatures survive space? In 2007, tardigrades were sent into low Earth orbit as part of a European Space Agency experiment. Some were exposed to the harsh conditions of space. No breathable atmosphere, extreme vacuum, and intense radiation. And when the surviving animals returned to Earth, some were able to recover. That doesn't mean tardigrades can casually live forever in space. They cannot. and they aren't invincible. But their ability to tolerate parts of the space environment is extraordinary. An animal smaller than a millimeter had survived something that would kill a human almost instantly. Here's where the story gets interesting. Tardigrades aren't immortal. They aren't indestructible. Extreme heat can kill them. Long exposure to certain conditions can overwhelm their defenses. And their survival depends heavily on entering the right state at the right time. Their greatest weapon isn't brute strength. It's adaptation. When the environment becomes hostile, they change their biological state. Instead of fighting the environment, they wait for it to change. And that may be the real secret behind their incredible survival. And this raises a much bigger question. If one microscopic animal can survive conditions this extreme, what else is capable of surviving in places we once thought were completely lifeless? Scientists are already discovering organisms living in environments once considered impossible, deep beneath the ocean, inside extreme deserts, under Antarctic ice, and deep underground. Life is proving to be much more adaptable than we imagined. The tardigrade doesn't show us that life is unstoppable. It shows us something more fascinating. Life can change the rules when the environment changes. The tardigrade is tiny. It has no claws, no massive muscles, no powerful jaws, and no armor like a tank. Yet when the world around it becomes impossible, it simply shuts down and waits. Maybe that's why this tiny creature is so fascinating. Because survival isn't always about being the strongest. Sometimes it's about knowing when to stop, when to endure, and when to wait for the storm to pass. A creature smaller than a grain of sand may have just taught us one of nature's biggest lessons. You don't always survive by fighting the impossible. Sometimes you survive by becoming impossible to destroy.